Well, when I started at Disney in '77, I tell the story that when we got into the training program, we sat at the old Disney desks, and we had the scene stackers, and we had the tabaret beside us. We had the little clip to put the X sheet on. Matter of fact, the only thing in my room that was not there in Snow White was the electric pencil sharpener. So in 40 years, literally nothing had changed in the pipeline. And so we trained in the traditional way, and I was there for a couple of years, and I got the films weren't exciting, and then this guy named Steve Lisberger came to Hollywood, and he came over to us and he said, "I've got an idea for a new studio," and he made the pitch to all of us, and I was the only one that bit and left. Everybody else stayed, but I left, and I went to Lisberger Studios. I became his animation director, and I worked on a feature film called Animal Olympics. And then Steve had this idea for Tron, this movie called Tron, about a guy and a computer. And that was an exciting time, because at the time we really knew very little about computers, but we liked the idea of doing a movie about computers. And people, the minute the word got out that Steve had this idea, people just started coming to the studio. I remember Alan Kay used to fly down from Xerox PARC and every week and consult with us in story sessions. And I used to have this thing on Fridays. I would bring old animators and guys like Ken O'Connor down to talk to our crew, right? And one Friday I brought Walt Paraguay down. And those of you are laughing because this is this very brilliant designer. He's most famous for the 101 Dalmatians look, that background styling. But the guy was, and still to this day, is like the worst curmudgeon, right?
Yeah, he's a real salty dog. He's
and
great.
he comes down to the studio to talk to the crew, right? And everybody always brings drawings or paintings and original art. Walt walks in with nothing. And I get the whole crew into the conference room, and he gets up and he says, "You guys have missed it." And we said, "What are you talking about?" He says, "It's over. We did all the good stuff. It's done. You guys, you're not going to do anything. And thank you for the motivational talk, Walt. And I'll never forget this. Steve Lisberger, he looked at him and he said, "We're going to do stuff on that screen that you cannot even imagine." I remember him saying that. I got chills. I almost still get chills thinking about that moment. And then, of course, we went on to go to Disney and do Tron, and it was like every day was like Christmas morning. You'd go in and there'd be some new invention, and we did this thing that I ended up calling symbiotic filmmaking. Where we had all these technologists who knew nothing about animation or art, and of course we knew nothing about computers. And so we would work with them every day and say, "Well, can you do this?" And they go, "Well, no, we can't do that, but we can do this."